What happens when a prince walks onto a talk show convinced he owns the room, only to discover that his royal title means absolutely nothing when the questions get uncomfortable? Buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the most explosive celebrity meltdowns ever caught on camera. Prince Harry's appearance on the Kelly Clarkson Show was meant to be a routine promotional stop. Instead, it spiraled into a full-blown disaster, ending with security stepping in to escort him out of the building. Before we get into this wild moment, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what you think about celebrities who can't handle criticism. Picture it, Kelly Clarkson sits across from Prince Harry in her bright, cheerful studio. The cameras are rolling, the audience is buzzing, and everything feels perfectly normal. Kelly opens with her usual warmth, asking about his recent projects and life in California. Harry appears relaxed, leaning back in his chair, wearing that familiar smirk everyone recognizes. "So, Harry, you've been in America for a few years now. How are you finding the adjustment from royal life to, well, regular celebrity life?" Kelly asks with genuine curiosity. Harry chuckles and shifts in his seat. "Well, Kelly, I wouldn't exactly call it regular celebrity life. I'm still a prince. I still carry that responsibility and that heritage. It's not like I've abandoned who I am." Kelly nods politely. "Of course, but there must be some differences. You're doing interviews, writing books, making deals with streaming platforms. That's pretty different from cutting ribbons and attending state dinners, right?" Harry's smile tightens. "Everything I do still has that royal touch. People don't just see Harry, they see Prince Harry. That's never going to change. And frankly, I don't want it to." His tone turns defensive, and Kelly hasn't even pushed him yet. "That's interesting," she says. "A lot of people wonder about that balance. How do you maintain your royal identity while also being financially independent and building your own brand?" Harry's expression shifts. That question comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of what being royal means. It's not a job you clock in and out of. It's who you are. It's in your blood. It's your birthright. Whether I'm in a palace or a mansion in Montecito, I'm still a prince. Kelly keeps her professional smile, but she's clearly noticing the edge in his voice. "I understand that. Speaking of Montecito, you and Meghan have built quite a life there. How has marriage changed your perspective on your role and your future?" The moment Meghan's name comes up, everything changes. Harry sits up straighter, his jaw tightens, his eyes narrow. "What do you mean by that?" he asks, his voice suddenly sharp. Kelly looks taken aback. "I just mean marriage changes everyone. You make decisions together. You build a family together. It naturally shapes how you see your future." "I see what you're doing," Harry says coldly. "You're suggesting my wife changed me, that she influenced my decisions about my family. That's exactly the narrative we've been fighting." "No, that's not what I'm saying at all." Kelly responds quickly, raising her hands. "I ask this question of lots of guests. It's about marriage in general. But you're not asking it in a vacuum, are you?" Harry snaps. "There's always this story that Meghan is pulling the strings, that she wanted to leave the royal family, that she's behind every decision. And frankly, I'm sick of it." The audience begins to shift uncomfortably. This is not where anyone expected the interview to go. "Harry, I really wasn't implying any of that," Kelly says, trying to regain control. "I'm asking about your personal growth, about how marriage has affected you as a person." "That's the problem," Harry fires back, his voice rising. "Every question about my marriage turns into commentary about my wife. Why can't people accept that I make my own choices? Why does everything have to be about Meghan manipulating me?" Kelly's patience is wearing thin, though she stays composed. "Because that's not what I asked. I asked how marriage changed your perspective. I've asked dozens of married guests the same question, and none of them reacted like this." "Oh, so now I'm overreacting." Harry raises his voice. Production staff glance at one another nervously. "This is exactly what I'm talking about. The moment I defend my wife, suddenly I'm the problem." "I'm not saying you're overreacting," Kelly replies, her tone firmer now. "I'm saying you're responding to something I didn't ask. You're putting words in my mouth and getting angry about words I never said." Harry leans forward aggressively. "Listen, Kelly, I've been dealing with this for years. Every interview, every question, every comment somehow gets twisted into a story where my wife is the villain and I'm the victim. I'm not playing that game anymore." "I'm not playing any game," Kelly shoots back, her patience clearly thinning. "I asked a straightforward question about marriage, and you immediately jump to conclusions about my motives. That's not fair to me or to this conversation. Fair. Harry lets out a bitter laugh. You want to talk about fair? Is it fair that my wife gets blamed for every decision I make? Is it fair that people treat me like some kind of puppet who can't think for himself? The tension in the studio is suffocating. The audience has gone completely silent, watching the implosion unfold in real time. Kelly takes a slow breath, trying to regain control. Harry, I think we're getting off track. Why don't we talk about your upcoming projects instead? But Harry isn't backing down. No. You brought up my marriage, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about how every media outlet, every talk show, every interviewer walks in with a preset narrative that my wife is the problem. I don't have a predetermined narrative, Kelly says firmly. I asked one question about how marriage changed your perspective. You turned it into a lecture about the media. That's on you, not me. That's on me. Harry's voice rises dangerously. So it's my fault that I constantly have to defend my wife from non-stop attacks. What attacks? Kelly fires back. I didn't attack anyone. I asked about marriage. That's it. Harry's face flushes red, veins standing out on his forehead. What attacks? Are you serious? Have you not seen what's been said about my wife for years? Kelly throws her hands up. Harry, I am not the media. I'm not responsible for what other people write or say. I'm Kelly Clarkson, sitting in my studio, asking you about your life. But you're part of the same system, Harry snaps. The same machine that tears people down and feeds these narratives. You sit there acting innocent, but you know exactly what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing, Kelly replies sharply, her warmth completely gone. I'm trying to have a normal conversation with a guest who can't handle a basic question about marriage without having a meltdown. A meltdown. Harry suddenly stands, his chair screeching across the floor. You think this is a meltdown? This is me finally standing up for my family instead of sitting there and taking it. The audience gasps. A few people in the front row look ready to bolt, frozen by the cameras and the chaos. Kelly remains seated, rigid, jaw clenched. Sit down, Harry. You're being ridiculous, and you're making everyone uncomfortable? Ridiculous. His voice cracks. You invite me here, ask loaded questions, and when I defend myself, I'm the problem. This is exactly the treatment that drove us out in the first place. Loaded questions. Kelly stands now, matching his energy. I asked how marriage changed your perspective. That's the most basic question you can ask a married person. If that's loaded to you, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews. Maybe I shouldn't. Harry laughs bitterly. Maybe I should just disappear and let people say whatever they want about my family. Let the machine keep running. What machine? Kelly's voice rises. What stories am I feeding? I asked one question. You're the one who dragged everything else into this. I dragged it in because I know the script. Harry says, pointing at her. Ask about marriage, then leaving, then interviews, then family drama. Same story every time. Maybe if you didn't turn everything into family drama, people wouldn't ask about it. Kelly snaps. Maybe if you could have a normal conversation without jumping to conclusions, interviews wouldn't be so hard for you, hard for me. Harry's voice hits a dangerous pitch. You have no idea what hard is. Hard is having your entire life dissected by strangers. Welcome to fame. Kelly says coolly. That's what it is. If you can't handle questions about your life, maybe being a public figure isn't for you. A public figure. Harry shouts. I'm not just a public figure. I'm a prince. I was born into this. I didn't choose it, and I didn't choose to have people like you questioning me. People like me. Kelly's voice drops to a razor-sharp whisper. What exactly do you mean by that, Harry? He hesitates for a split second, then doubles down. People who make a living off celebrity gossip. People who pretend to be supportive while hunting for headlines. Celebrity gossip. Kelly bristles. I've won multiple Grammys. I've spent over 20 years building a career on talent, not tabloids. How dare you reduce me to that? Oh, please. Harry scoffs. You think having a talk show puts you above it. This is entertainment, Kelly, and you know it? You're right, she says coldly. This is entertainment, and right now, you're entertaining everyone by showing them exactly who you are. Ooh, I really am. Harry's voice shakes with rage. And who is that, Kelly? The kind of person who can't handle criticism, she fires back. Who can't answer a simple question without throwing a tantrum. Who thinks a title gives him the right to talk down to people? The kind of person who blames everyone else for his problems instead of taking responsibility for his own actions. Kelly says flatly. Taking responsibility. Harry lets out a harsh laugh. You want to talk about responsibility? I left everything behind to protect my family. I gave up my royal duties, my military roles, my entire life in England. If that's not taking responsibility, what is? You left because you couldn't handle the pressure. Kelly replies bluntly. Things got hard, and instead of dealing with it, you ran. And now you're sitting in my studio throwing another tantrum because I asked you one simple question. I didn't run. Harry snaps, his voice hoarse from shouting. I made a strategic decision to protect my wife and children from a toxic environment my own family helped create. Your own family. Kelly raises an eyebrow. So now it's their fault too. Is there anyone in your life who isn't responsible for your problems except you? My family chose the institution over me, Harry says, his voice cracking. They chose reputation over their own son and brother. They let the media tear my wife apart and did nothing to stop it. Or maybe, Kelly says quietly, they got tired of cleaning up your messes. Maybe they got tired of you blaming everyone else. Maybe they got tired of walking on eggshells because you can't handle criticism or accountability. The silence that follows is crushing. Harry stares at her, stunned. The audience doesn't dare move. How dare you? He whispers. How dare you talk about my family like that? You have no idea what we went through. I know what everyone knows, Kelly replies firmly. I know you've spent years blaming everyone but yourself. I know you've publicly trashed your family in interviews and books. And I know you're doing the exact same thing to me right now because I asked a question you didn't like. This wasn't a hard question, Harry snaps. This was a setup, designed to make me look bad, to make me lose my temper, to give you drama for your show. Nobody set you up, Kelly says sadly. You did this all by yourself. Harry's face drains of color, then floods red. His hands tremble as the cameras zoom in, capturing every flicker of rage. You don't know what you're talking about, he says tightly. You sit in your bubble, judging situations you've never lived. I'm not making assumptions, Kelly says calmly. I'm watching your behavior right now. And what I see is someone who can't handle being challenged. Someone who lashes out the moment he doesn't get the response he wants. You're attacking me, Harry protests, his voice cracking. You question my family, my decisions. You implied I'm a failure who runs from problems. I implied nothing. Kelly answers. I asked how marriage changed your perspective. Everything else came from you. The anger, the accusations, the defensiveness, that's all you. That's not true. Harry says, weaker now. You were leading me, trying to get me to say something you could use against me. Use against you. Kelly scoffs. Harry, you're doing this to yourself. I'm not making you shout. I'm not making you accuse. I'm not making you blame everyone else. That's you. Stop saying that, he snaps. You know exactly how the media works. You're part of the same machine. You're right, Kelly says quietly. I am part of the media. I ask celebrities about their lives. But I don't sit here and let grown men throw tantrums because they can't answer basic questions. This isn't a tantrum. Harry insists, even as he gestures wildly, voice raised, face twisted with anger. This is me standing up for my family. No one is trying to tear you down, Kelly fires back. But you're doing a great job of it yourself. You're proving every criticism people have ever made about you. My critics don't know me. Harry shrills. They don't know what I've been through. They don't know the sacrifices we've made. What sacrifices? Kelly asks sharply, moving from one mansion to another, going from royal privilege to streaming deals. What exactly did you give up? I sacrificed my relationship with my family. Harry says, his voice breaking. My home. My country. My military career. Everything I knew and loved. You didn't sacrifice those things, Kelly says bluntly. You chose to give them up. There's a difference between sacrifice and choice, and you made a choice. Own it. I made a choice to protect my wife and children, Harry says desperately. That's what a husband and father does. A husband and father also takes responsibility for his actions, Kelly fires back. A husband and father doesn't blame everyone else when things don't go his way. A husband and father doesn't throw public tantrums when asked a simple question. Simple question. Harry's voice cracks. Nothing about my life is simple. Nothing about being royal is simple. Nothing about dealing with the media is simple. Then maybe you should stop doing media, Kelly says with finality. If you can't handle questions, if you can't have a conversation without losing your mind, if you can't be a professional guest, maybe you should stop doing interviews altogether. Maybe I should, Harry says quietly, dangerously. Maybe I should stop trying to explain myself to people who will never understand. Good? Kelly says simply. Because honestly, Harry, this conversation has been exhausting. You've turned what should have been a pleasant interview into chaos, and I'm tired of trying to reason with someone who clearly isn't interested in being rational. Rational. Harry explodes again. You think you're being rational. Attacking someone's character, questioning their integrity, is that rational? I think calling out bad behavior is rational. Kelly responds. I think refusing to enable a victim complex is rational. I think standing up for myself when someone tries to bully me in my studio is rational. Bully you? Harry looks shocked. I'm not bullying anyone. I'm defending myself against your attacks. Harry, look around you, Kelly says, gesturing to the studio. Look at the audience. Look at the crew. Look at the cameras. You've been shouting, making accusations, being aggressive. If anyone's being bullied here, it's me. Harry glances around. For the first time, he seems to notice how his behavior looks. Audience members stare with expressions ranging from shock to disgust. Crew members shift uncomfortably. Even the cameras seem pointed at him like weapons. This is ridiculous. He mutters, deflated. I came here to have a conversation, not to be ambushed. You weren't ambushed, Kelly says tiredly. You ambushed yourself. You came in with a chip on your shoulder, and the moment I asked anything that wasn't praise, you lost it. That's not what happened, Harry says weakly. But the energy has drained from him. That's exactly what happened, Kelly says firmly. And you know what? I think we're done here. This interview is over. You can't just end the interview. Harry protests, panic creeping in. I have things to promote. I have a message to get out. Your message got out, Kelly says sarcastically. Loud and clear. I think everyone here has learned everything they need to know. This isn't fair, Harry says, sounding petulant. You're not giving me a chance to explain myself properly. You've had plenty of chances. Kelly says, standing. You've been explaining yourself for 20 minutes, and it hasn't been pretty. I want to finish this interview. Harry says, standing now, agitated. Kelly says firmly. Security, show him out. Security. Harry's voice rises. You're calling security on me. I'm a prince. You can't just throw me out! I can and I will. Kelly says, nodding to someone off camera. Being a prince doesn't give you the right to act like this. Title or no title, you're just another guest who couldn't handle a simple interview. Two security guards appear at the edge of the stage. Harry's eyes widen. This is really happening. This is unbelievable, he mutters. What's unbelievable, Kelly says as the guards approach, is that a grown man can't answer a question about marriage without a complete breakdown. What's unbelievable is that someone claiming to protect his family spends all his time making them look bad by association. You don't know what you're talking about, Harry says one last time, voice defeated. I know exactly what I'm talking about, Kelly says as the guards gently escort him toward the exit. And so does everyone watching this train wreck. As Harry is led away, he turns back. This isn't over. People will see this for what it really was. Yes, they will, Kelly says with a smile. They'll see exactly what it was. Prince Harry disappears behind the curtain, leaving one of the most uncomfortable and revealing interviews in talk show history. Kelly turns to the audience, takes a deep breath, and says simply, well, that was something. What started as a routine promotional interview became a master class in how not to handle criticism, how not to be a guest, and how not to represent yourself in public. Caught on camera, it spread across social media like wildfire. What do you think about celebrities who can't handle basic questions about their lives? Drop a comment and let us know. And don't forget to subscribe for more wild celebrity stories.